So guys, today back from another video on the channel. Today we are here for my 2021-22 Premier League predictions. Honestly boys, I do this every year now and last year was my worst year, so I really do need to improve on that. I think I got about 75 points on the difference throughout the full 20 teams. I've got my prediction literally right in front of me now, and I literally can't wait to tell you guys what I think this season will be like. There's a couple of surprising ones there and there, but overall I think it's a decent prediction. I want to say now, if I say your team's not gonna, if you don't agree with anything I say in this video, it's my opinion. It's virtually impossible to predict the Premier League table. It's impossible. Last year I didn't even get one team right, so hoping this year I can do that. Make sure to leave a like boys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It wouldn't mean a lot if you could do so. We're so close to 10k subs, we're like 300 and something away, so if you could go and subscribe it would mean a lot. Anyways boys, we'll start off now. We'll go from 20th all the way to 1st and tell you my Premier League predictions. So we're going to be starting off with 20th place, from relegation all the way at the top. For me, 20th place, it is going to be Watford. I think they have made some good signings and they have got a good team. I just feel like it's going to be one of them years where it's like they just can't do everything, and there's always that team in the Premier League where they are bottom of the league and they can't really do anything. But I think it'll be different this year. I think 20th to probably is about 14th will be very tight, and I've got a feeling that Watford won't be 20th throughout the full season. They'll be up and down in the relegation spots, but I think like with the last couple of games they will just drop down into 20th place. I don't want to speak too much about every team because it'll drag on and drag on, but for me, 20th place I have got Watford. 19th position I have got Norwich City, the second team to get promoted, the championship winners of the 2020-21 season. And looking at how they played against Newcastle in yesterday's pre-season game, it wasn't a convincing performance for Norwich, and yes, they didn't have all their good player signing and whatnot, but Norwich is one of them teams where they are the yo-yo club of the Premier League. Them and Fulham are the up and down team every single year, and for me, I feel like it's going to be them going down. I just feel like I just can't see them having a good season, and it'll be similar to Watford's season. They'll be around there. They'll not always be 19th. There'll be times where they'll be out the relegation zone, but they are signing some good players. So I can only put my hats off Billy Gilmore, Rashika, I think it is, from Werder Bremen, Les Mulusu, I think he's called, from Nice. So they have signed some good players, and we'll have to wait and see, but I do think that Norwich will get relegated, and I put them in 19th. And 18th now is the final team going into the relegation zone, and for me, it is Brentford. I think Brentford, they just haven't signed enough players in my opinion, but I think the belief of the fans will help them a lot this season. I want Brentford to stay up. I want all the teams that got promoted to stay up. I don't mind Norwich, I'd rather them go down out of all of them. Watford, because of Cycling GK, the videos are class, and then obviously Brentford, the fans and stuff, and being their first time in the Premier League, it'll be remarkable if they could stay up. It'll remind me a little bit of the Huddersfield story, and if Brentford could stay up, it would be massive for their football club. But I have got them to get relegated, and it's unfortunate, but I've got 18th Brentford. Right now we've got 17th. We'll go from 17th all the way up now. We've done the relegation. This is teams where they're just trying to survive in the league. Starting off 17th Brighton. I feel like they've signed some decent players. They've signed that midfielder from what the car man. Bloody hell, Binksy's having a brain freeze. Red Bull Salzburg, that's the one. I think it's them anyways. The lad who links to Daka, him, right? He looks like a decent player. Brighton have got a good team, but I just feel like it'll be one of them seasons where they don't survive, and it could be they could go down. Obviously the loss of Ben White is massive, 50 million, but if they can still invest that 50 million into more signings, I think they should be fine for staying up. And I don't think Brighton have got to worry. I feel like it'll be like there's always that team where they do well in the season, and they'll be the last couple of games, and it's like the last 2 games, and they might have the top 6 or something. I don't know what Brighton do, and they drop down because they couldn't pick up 6 points or anything from the last 2 games, and that puts them to 17th, even though they've had a good season. Could be something like that, but I've got 17th Brighton. 16th now, I have got Southampton. The loss of Danny Ings is massive, and I've actually got a feel that Southampton could be it could get dangerous for them this season. It really could. They haven't really made any big signings. They're signed that young lad from Chelsea, and apart from that, that's the only person I can think of. They need a striker for Danny Ings. I know Che Adams is a decent striker, but is he really going to do it in the Premier League week in week out like what Danny Ings done? Personally, I can't say it. When you look at Danny Ings scoring goals and then for him to just go bang straight to Villa, like fucking that. They've got to sign players. They've got to sign a striker and a midfielder. And if they lose Ward-Prowse, they could get relegated. Obviously, I'm recording this before the first match week, even though the transfer window ends at the end of August. Sorry. So people can still make signings whenever. But from what I can say at the minute, Southampton are going to have a struggling season, and they're going to finish 16th. Right then, 15th. I've put my team, Newcastle United. At the minute I'm recording this on Sunday night, 8 o'clock, and we've just agreed a deal with Joe Willock, and it's looking to be real this fucking time. Even if we sign Joe Willock or not, I think it will be a disappointing season for Newcastle. I'm hoping it's not. I've got my season ticket. I've got the West Ham game next week. It's gonna be an interesting season, and I think all the negativity around the club with the owner, with Steve Bruce, with the no signings and stuff, but if we can get Joe Willock and a couple more loan signings in, I think we should be fine. If Maxi stays fit, if Wilson stays fit, we could finish top 10, but we don't know. We've seen Maxi and Bolton both get injured in pre-season, and if they're going to get injured in pre-season, they're going to get injured during the season. But at the minute, I put Newcastle 15th. 14th now, I have got Burnley. Burnley haven't really signed anyone, but they apparently signed this Brazilian winger. I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him, but he could be a little bit of a Charlison. And when do you ever see Burnley sign a player from Brazil? It's always Brexit players, bloody English, Irish, or bloody wherever. Never a Brazilian going to Burnley. That's mad to think that, but he looks to be going there. I think obviously Burnley always stay up. They always do, and they have got a good enough team to stay up, so I can't say why not. Obviously we've seen them get Europe in a couple of seasons ago and stuff, but I feel like Burnley will be fine. They should be fine. If they keep McNeil, don't sell them to Everton, which they shouldn't, and they won't. For me, Burnley, fine. 14th. 13th place now, I have got Crystal Palace, and before they signed anyone, I had Palace to go down. I had always in my mind, Palace are going to get relegated. Their signings have been incredible. They actually have been. Starting off with a young lad from Reading. Baller. Absolute baller. The Chelsea centre-back who was at Swansea last season. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I know he's a baller. Conor Gallagher. Baller. They've signed some ridiculous players, and Patrick Vieira, new man at the Hound. Hopefully Maxi can show why he's the GOAT, and Patrick Vieira slagging him off before he came to Newcastle. Hopefully he can get to Selhurst Park and get a couple against them, but I had Palace to go down. Always in my mind, Palace were going to get relegated, but fair enough to them. The signings they've made and the business that they've done. Yes, they got rid of a lot of players, but a lot of dead wood, you could say. The thing is about Crystal Palace, they've got a very good first team. It's a bit like Newcastle. They've got a very good first team, but it's like the substitutes and the players they can bring off the bench and the players for the FA Cup and stuff. For me, they don't have that, and that's something that you can struggle with, because if Zaha gets injured, you can't replace him. But at Newcastle, when Maxi gets injured, you can't replace him. It's either Palace are going to finish 13th where they normally do, around that position, have a good season, or they'll get relegated. But it'll be a surprising one. We'll wait and see. Can Vieira handle it? But I've got Palace in 13th. 12th position now, I have got Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've got a good team. It's fucking fantastic to see Raul Jimenez back in a Wolves shirt. Got a goal in pre-season, I think it was against Stoke. And I think Wolves will have a decent season. They finished 13th last season, but who have they signed? They signed that lad from Barcelona. They've sold Rui Patricio, but brought in Jose Sa. They've done the business there and there, but we're going to say like Adama Traore leave and stuff. But you see more of Nelson Semedo for them, but I think Wolves will be fine, and if they can try and push for top 10, they'll not have to worry about relegation. But if they can go for top 10, it'll be a good season for Wolves, and I think will absolutely take that. 11th position now, a controversial one you could say. I've put West Ham, and yeah, I've got my reasoning behind it. I think West Ham could do well in Europe. They've had a very good pre-season. Beating Celtic, beating Brentford, beating Atlanta. They've had a really good pre-season, and I think with Jesse Lingard was a massive part of their season last season, and I think West Ham can do well. I think they can go for it again, but I put them in 11th. I think they will focus on Europa League a lot more, like what Newcastle did when we won Europe. We focused on Europe, got the quarterfinals, and we're just so close to getting that semis, and then obviously finished about 15th, 16th in that season. But I think West Ham will be fine. Don't need about relegation. Obviously, ballers like Declan Rice signed Areola. They've got about 5 goalkeepers and they've got 1 striker, so I think a striker is needed at West Ham to either take over Antonio or partner of Antonio or replace Antonio if Antonio gets injured. But for me, West Ham, I think 11th will be fair enough, because obviously the fitness as well, playing on a Thursday night and going into a game on Sunday or whatever it is, they need the players, and for me, West Ham don't have the players. So if they can get some more signings in, they can push a little bit more higher, but for me, West Ham 11th. 10th now, I have got Everton. Rafa Benitez obviously came to the helm, and it's going to be an emotional one playing Everton at home. It'll be mad to see Rafa in the opposite dugout, but I think they've done some decent business, you could say. I think getting Damari Gray is a good deal. Andros Townsend on a free, Begovic on a free. I think what they've done and what they can do, they could do a lot more. And obviously the whole situation with Gylfi Sigurdsson's not helping the club as well. But I think they still need a couple of more signings. They need probably a striker to help Dominic Calvert-Lewin. James Rodriguez, we didn't see enough of him last season in my opinion, and we all know Rafa gets the best out of players, and I'm sure he'll get the best out of James Rodriguez, the best possible he can. He did it at Real Madrid when Rafa was there until he got sacked, and then obviously came to Newcastle. He can get the best out of players, and it'll be good for him to be at a club again and focus on a club again and rebuild the club again. And obviously with the stadium and stuff upgrading, Everton have done well and they should be fine. I think Everton would take 10th place considering the transfer window that they've had. 9th position, I have got Leeds United. At first I was thinking Leeds would be a little bit more down, but I was thinking some of the signings, and one sign that isn't getting spoken about, it's Junior Firpo. What a player he is. He performed massively for Barcelona, and Leeds needed a left back. They needed more defensive cover, and he's a brilliant player. Fantastic. Rafinha, Bamford, they've got ballers in that team. Jack Harrison's been brilliant as well. I'm sure Leeds will have another good season, and Bielsa's obviously a brilliant manager and definitely can get them 9th. 8th position now, I have got Aston Villa. The loss of Jack Grealish, but the signings they have made, incredible. Emi Buendia, Leon Bailey, Danny Ings. I'm about to say Danny Evans there. Whoa, Danny Evans up top for fucking Villa. Danny Ings, looking at Ward-Prowse. They've just signed Alex Twanzebe today. I think they're doing everything that they can, and honestly, the club is going in the right direction. They were in the Championship for a good few years. Finally came back to Prem, just stayed up, had a really good season last season. And obviously the loss of Jack Grealish is going to play a massive effect. It is. But I think when you lose your best player like that, it can go either two ways. You can really rebuild and do better, or you could Villa could have a really shit season. With the signs that they've made, they're not going to have a shit season with Danny Ings, with Leon Bailey, with Buendia, and the fans are back. When Villa have their fans behind them, they're a different team. Playing at Villa Park, I would be scared as an opposition player for how loud their fans are. It's literally, I wouldn't like playing at St James's Park, Villa Park or Ellen Road. Any of them stadiums you wouldn't want to play at, and that's the effect of the fans coming back in the stadium, and that's how I think they can help Aston Villa have a good season. I think 8th position, they'll be absolutely buzzing with that. 7th position now, I don't know if I regret putting these here. I've put Leicester in 7th. They finished 5th last season, just won the Community Shield against Man City, and they've signed some brilliant players. Daka, what a baller. The Lille centre midfielder, Sion Money, I think he's called, or whatever he's called. But for me, the big loss, it's Wesley Fofana. What a player he is, and for him to get injured in that pre-season game against Villarreal was disgusting. So I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. He was in my fantasy team, and I think Leicester will have a really good year. Obviously they're in Europe, like West Ham. I think they'll focus on that. That's a reason as well why I think they'll focus on that. I think Leicester will have a good year. I sort of regret putting them 7th, and I'll look back at this video and I'll know I've regretted it. So Leicester 7th place. Now I've got the big one, the top 6. And it's actually the top 6, whoever the scummy cunts who wanted to do the fucking Super League and that. Bloody hell. Anyways, 6th position. I sort of regret this. I think I should have moved Leicester and stuff now, but I'm going off my first thought, and that's it, right? 6th, I've got Arsenal. Look at it now. They just got beat to Spurs today. I look at that and think, that isn't good enough. And they haven't really signed anyone apart from Ben White, but they need a player up top. They need a striker. Aubameyang's going like that. What happened with the Euros with Saka, I think obviously is. I think the mental state of Bukayo Saka will never be the same. Will never ever be the same for the way he got racially abused. I think the only reason why I've put Arsenal 6 is because they've got no competitions apart from the FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Premier League. It's the only thing they've got to focus on. And if they don't do well this season, for me it's officially, if Arsenal don't finish in the top 6, they are officially not a big club anymore. They're not a big club, but they're not part of the top 6 anymore. They're not. For me, Leicester are, but I don't know why I've done that, to be honest, in that prediction. But we'll go with the flow. Arsenal 6. In 5th place, I have got Tottenham. I think they'll win this European Conference League, or whatever it is. The shitty weather playing teams from Czech Republic and all fucking shite teams. I think they'll win that, and that'll be a massive part of their season, and it'll help them into the Premier League. If they win that, I think if you're a Tottenham fan, you would rather win the European Conference League and not get top 4, or you get top 4 but you don't win the European Conference League. Unknown about Harry Kane as well. If Harry Kane goes to Man City, I'm putting Leicester 5th, Arsenal 6th, Spurs 7th. But I'm going off what I know now. Harry Kane's a Tottenham player. Heung-min Son's a Tottenham player. They've got some good players, and I think they'll finish 5th. Right then, top 4 now. This is the most interesting stuff, you know. 4th place, I've got Chelsea. Normally, when a team wins the Champions League, they can struggle the next season, and we've seen that. We've seen that. Apart from Liverpool, right? And I'm not saying that about just the Premier League teams that have won the Champions League. When Real Madrid have won the Premier League, they've started off the La Liga season quite slow and stuff like that. And obviously we've had the Euros as well. Chelsea have had extremely a lot of players out on European competitions throughout the whole summer. I think they'll have a slow start of the season, but for me, you've got to stick behind Tuchel. You cannot sack the amount of managers Chelsea just sacked and sacked and sacked. They cannot sack Thomas Tuchel anytime soon. They've got to keep him in for extreme time. And I was quite happy when they won the Champions League. It was a good moment. It was a good night. That night was bloody belter. But Chelsea, I've got them in 4th. Who are they signed? If they sign Lukaku, that's a brilliant sign. It was either Haaland, Lukaku or Lewandowski, and I think they've got the man that they wanted Haaland, but he wasn't going to leave. The next man was Lukaku. They've agreed a deal. Looks to be going to Chelsea, and Chelsea should have a good season. I think Timo Werner will prove himself as well. Chelsea 4th. 3rd position now. I have got, it's either Liverpool or Man United, and I was so torn between the two teams. I was so torn, but I have put Manchester United in 3rd position. Like a bit like Chelsea, I think the Champions League might play a bit of an effect this season. I think they might focus on it a little bit more, but the signings, Rafael Varane, Jadon Sancho, beast, absolute class. But I seen a TikTok, and it was Mark Goldbridge speaking, and he said they're just missing that one thing, that one more player. I genuinely think if Manchester United could sign an unbelievable centre midfielder, like the best of the best, like the best of the best, and the best of the best striker, they could be one of the best teams in the world. We've seen Bruno Fernandes score that free kick against Everton. Jadon Sancho looks like a baller. Obviously, you know, he is a baller, but I haven't seen him in the Premier League in a Man United shirt yet. I was so torn between the two, but I've just got a feeling Manchester United will get third place. And then that's obviously revealed a bit who I think will finish second and who I think will finish first. So, second position, I have got Liverpool. Liverpool, obviously, for last season, that a really good end to the season, but they've made no signings. But I believe in Jurgen Klopp. I think Jurgen Klopp's a brilliant manager, and I think what he's done at Liverpool, he's rebuilt a club. They were down there, they were getting 7th position, like a bit like Arsenal now. And if Arsenal could get that man to walk in and save their club, that's what Liverpool have done. And Jurgen Klopp's done that. He got Liverpool third last season, which I thought was incredible considering they were like 9th, 10th at Christmas and stuff. Obviously they've made no signings. They need that Mbappe or someone up front. But we'll have to wait and see. They do need a player. I think they will sign someone, to be honest. And if they can keep everyone fit, like Jota and Thiago, and obviously Van Dijk's back, they're going to have a good season. So Liverpool, I've got them in second. And then that means I've got first position, Manchester City. I think we all know that. I think Manchester City will win the league. Obviously, they were Premier League champions last year, and they stunned the show. No one really challenged them or really fought with them, and they stunned the league. They just shined and just done it on their own. And the Champions League final break was the one for them where they needed to win it, but they didn't. Is this year going to be the year for the Champions League? Obviously, the big signing of Jack Grealish came in, and obviously, Man City fans should be buzzing. Absolute baller. So I have to wait and see what happens. But I've got Manchester City in first, and that is my Premier League predictions for the 2021-22 season. Lads, I don't know if you've realised, but I've recorded this video hungover as anything. I need to get this video out because I'll end up forgetting, and I'll do it after the Premier League season starts, and I can't be doing that. So if you've realised that, I'm sorry, boys. Last night got absolutely smashed. So, you know, if you followed the Snapchat, you would have knew. But make sure to leave a like, boys, subscribe to the channel, let me know your predictions in the comment section down below. It would mean a lot if you could do so. Let us know where you think Newcastle will finish. Obviously get some more views on Newcastle fans, but if any of you are Newcastle fans, let us know where your team will finish. But see you all in the next one, lads. That is my Premier League predictions. I'll see you all in May or June reacting to this.